Alrighty, we are out here. I am out here at our tank. I'm currently collecting the sap. I haven't really done much recording the last couple days. It's currently Thursday. Not sure the exact day number. I think maybe 13. But I haven't really done much filming. We've been just kind of doing the same old thing over and over again. So, to film it would have just been the same thing you guys already seen. So I've done some Facebook updates and stuff, but I wanted to come on here and kind of explain the situation at hand. So I am finishing syrup tonight. That's my goal. My dad and I, we finished a couple gallons of syrup the other day, put it in a blue container, of a 5.5 gallon container that is, food grade. And we're going to take that down to my grandfather's this weekend and try to bottle it, because we have some people that are already ordering syrup, so we're going to try to get that bottled. But the sap is wide open right now. So I've kind of started a system. I will gather my tank one night and RO it, and we'll try to boil that. And then the next night I'll gather Steele's tank and RO that and boil that. So these tanks have 2 days of collecting themselves. It kind of makes it so I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not running everywhere to get sap every night. Because if I had to run here, spend 20-25 minutes gathering this tank, then run to Steele's, spend 20-25 minutes gathering that tank, it becomes a lot. So, one gather a night, it works out pretty good. But this tank was right to the rim. So as you can see, that tank is right to the brim. That is full. But so that's good to see. That was 2 days of running. So it ran good yesterday, and it ran good today. It is, like I say, running wide open right now. I have videos of the line running. But yeah, so I got my little pump running here. I don't know if I've really ever shown this. Hook it up. I got quick couplers and everything. So the hose is just quick coupler in, and then it's just dumping in the top right there. So we're at about, I don't even know, probably 100 gallons right there. So that's awesome. We are going to have a lot tonight. So I'm going to fire the RO up tonight. I brought it to my house. So I'm going to RO the sap tonight, try to get it concentrated, and we're going to boil it tomorrow. So last night I had the RO pumping. I don't know, people saw it on the Facebook update, if anyone saw it there. I was pushing out 11.5%, which out of that RO was absolutely insane. But it was just cranking. So that was awesome. But this weather forecast we have is looking terrible. It is going to freeze tonight. It's Thursday night, so it's going to freeze tonight. And then it's not going to freeze again until Monday night. And it's going to be 60 and 70 during the day this weekend. So that is just not what you want to see. We need the freeze. The reason for the freeze-thaw cycle that we need is in the daytime. This is what I've always learned. I've seen some diagrams the last couple of years that suggest it's the opposite of this. This is what I've learned. In the daytime, when it warms up, the tree's headed up to the buds. The sap's head up to the buds to feed those buds. And then at nighttime, when it cools down, the sap pushes down to the roots. And it won't fully go down to the roots if it doesn't freeze at night. So that's why the freeze at night is so critical. But I've seen some diagrams the last couple of years that have said that when it warms up during the day, the sap goes down the tree. And then in the nighttime, it goes up. So I'm not totally sure. There's people that are more educated than me that know, what the exact way it works is. But that's what I've always learned, so that's what I stick with. It goes up in the day and down at night. But if the sap goes up in those buds and sits there too long, it'll turn it sour. So right now I'll show you. The sap's pretty crystal clear. It's not much cloudiness at all to it. It looks like water, crystal clear. But when the sap starts spoiling and starts getting a little bit, less, I don't know how to say it other than, it's going to be, when it's less good sap, I don't know, for lack of better terms. When the sap starts spoiling, it actually will turn cloudy. And then once it turns cloudy, it turns off flavor. And when you start boiling the syrup, it'll actually smell like cabbage. So that's what you don't want. You don't want to smell that. And then once you start making off flavor syrup, there's no really coming back from it. You're done. The sap will go cloudy, and then if you get a hard freeze, it will come back to clear, and then you'll be all right for a little bit, but it's getting close to the end at that point. So, actually, at the end of this sap season, we're going to start moving locations. So, I never really said this to anybody, you know, on the internet, but the name Mountaintop Maple, why did we come with that? Well, that's because right here, we're on a mountain. And the idea was eventually to move the sap house right there. That's where we want to have our sap house. So this spring and summer, we're going to level this out, level all this out, and we're going to put a sap house there. My father is. This is his place, so he's going to put a sap house there. And that's going to be his little hobby for his retirement. It's going to be our hobby for the next couple years together. It'll be good. We're excited for the move. He bought an evaporator over the summer at an auction, an actual one. So we'll have that in there. It's going to be a nice little setup. So we're wicked excited for that. But, so that's going to be more to come in videos this summer to see that process of building that evaporator and stuff like, or building the sap house and get everything moved in and getting ready for next year. We're going to run a bunch more lines all over this woods. Going to hopefully be around 80 taps. I think we can get there. Dad says no way. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to put this taps, the 34 or 31 we have here, we're going to split to 2 lines. We're going to add a bunch more. So we'll have probably 10 or 12 more on this road here. But it'll be on 2 lines instead of just 1 line. But, yeah, so we're super excited about that. That's going to be awesome. And it'll be a lot nicer environment. I mean, it's nice down at Eli's, but an actual building made for it will be awesome. So that's why the name Mountaintop Maple came about, because we're going to be boiling at the top of the mountain. We're not really at the top here, but it just kind of was flowing off the tongue nice. My mother had one request for the sap house. She said, you can put it there, but you got to have a porch. I want to see the view from the sap house. So I'll kind of give you a glance at what this view looks like she wants to see. So I can understand why she wants a porch to see that view. Pretty awesome spot we got here. So it's gonna be really nice when we get to see that view, boil some sap. It's gonna be awesome. So stay tuned for that. But tonight I'm gonna be boiling syrup, finish boiling syrup, and putting it in the jug. So I will bring you guys along and show you that process. And I'll be ROing, so maybe I'll show you some of that too. Busy night here. Even though we're not boiling, we're always busy with maple this time of year. Alrighty, back here at the house. I got the RO running here. So, concentrating some sap. Permeate's going in here as always. Concentrate back in the tank. Just tested it with a hydrometer. And it's coming out about 5%. So, it's going in about 2.5. I checked it. So, that's pretty good on a single pass. And it's going to get more concentrated as it goes down. We're already down closer to 100 gallons. We're maybe 105. So, we're already taking a good amount out, but obviously that'll slow down as we get closer. I mean, if I get that down to 50 or even 30 gallons, I'll be wicked happy. So it'll be a long night tomorrow, and we're going to boil on Saturday morning as well. So 2 days back to back, should be able to get through it no problem before this heat spell. But I'm down here. I'll show you the syrup we made last night. So we got enough in that, about half a bucket there. So I'm going to run it back. I already ran it through this filter bucket one time. But I'm going to run it through again because when I think there's still some sugar sand in there. So I was just going to run it through again because it's not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to try to prop my phone up somewhere and show you guys, you know, doing that. But, yeah, so we'll get doing that now. Fill it right up and turn the sucking through. And now I'm going to add this on there. And it'll suck right down and really force that syrup through. You can see it coming through the bottom here. You see it bouncing? That's the syrup going through. So now I'll take that cover off and I'll repeat the process till I'm done. So it's just sucking the last of it through now. Works super well. So without that vacuum, it would take forever for that sap to go through there. Or that syrup. Being as cold as that syrup is, would have taken forever. Because syrup does not flow. It's very viscous, which means like not very easy flowing when it is when it's cold. When it's hot, it flows a lot nicer. So, and that's not quite syrup. It's a bit thin. You can just tell. I can tell by the consistency of it. It is a little bit thin, but so it was flowing through there nice. So I'll go shut that vacuum off now and show you what the pail looks like. And that's what I was trying to filter out. That right there is called sugar sand. It's basically just an impurity in the sugar, in the syrup when you boil it, in the boiling process. So that's what I'm trying to filter out, is that sand. It adds a little grittiness to the syrup if you just drink it straight without filtering that out. It does add a little bit of grittiness, but that filter does get it pretty good. So I just double filtered that just to be sure. You know, if you have a filter press, it puts pressure on the syrup and you never have to double filter it or anything. It's perfectly clean one time through, but I don't have that luxury. I could use one. I know my grandfather's got one, but I'm trying to do everything myself, figure it out. You know, it's kind of cool to figure out and do it all myself. So that's why I decided to make that bucket and see if I could do it myself. So hopefully that helped a lot. We'll know better when I dump this bucket. If there's a lot of that sand sitting on the bottom, then I know it didn't really do that great of a job. But I can tell right now just by looking at this, there's some stuff on the bottom of this filter. That filter definitely caught stuff, so that's awesome. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, we're at the house. We're finishing some syrup now, so I got it in my pot here on the stove, and I don't know if you all are gonna be able to see the thermometer at all, but it's right there. So we're at, I want to focus. There we go. So 218 is syrup today. We're at about 215 and a half. So when that gets up there, we then take it and dump it into the blue. Now that's a food grade bucket, so when that's full, that's 5.5 gallons. So I'm gonna take that bucket this weekend to my grandfather's and finish it and warm it back up and then bottle it this weekend. So that'll be the next step, but that's all we do for finishing. Just sit here and watch it boil for a little while longer. But so the process of finishing is necessary because I don't know for sure if it's always syrup off the evaporator. I always get it off a little early because I don't want to burn the syrup. It's easier to take more water out than, you know, having burnt syrup. So I take it off a little earlier because this propane stove is a lot easier to regulate the heat and make sure I have precise heat than that wood stove. So doing it this way is a lot more precise and you can really make sure you get it right. So that's why you finish syrup. You don't just get it off the evaporator and bottle it. So syrup also won't spoil. It won't spoil when it's actually syrup. If it's a little shy, it will spoil a lot easier. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you have like a jar of syrup and you open it and there's some mold on the top, because it will mold on the top, scrape that mold off with like a spoon and throw it in the garbage, and then dump that syrup into a pot, bring it back up to a boil. Perfectly pure syrup. Do not throw that syrup out. It's 100% fine. Just scrape the mold off, back to a boil, and you're good to go. So that's a little interesting fact no one ever tells you. So it has a lifetime shelf life. It'll never ever go bad. Just might have to purify it a little bit. That's all. So it's a pretty cool product in that way. So we're gonna finish this last little bit and then call it a night.